So first of all, the TVK, in their claim that all of this is a conspiracy, have highlighted the fact that when Vijay was atop that bus, there were attempts to throw slippers at him. So they're saying that the moment he made a comment about Minister Senthil Balaji, who's a strongman in Karur, there were attempts to target Vijay. Slippers were hurled at him. So they're saying that that's evident that there was anger against Vijay. So this wasn't a TVK crowd, is their contention. They're also questioning the lathi charging. Now, this is a claim, by the way, because you've had the police maintaining there was no lathi charge, but they're saying the crowds were lathi charge that led to chaos. They've also maintained that power was cut off to create chaos. Again, a charge that's been denied completely by the Tamil Nadu government, who've said that power was cut off much before Vijay came in. They've even shown that TVK sought for the power to be cut off. Now, besides that, the TVK has also maintained that Vijay was targeted when he attacked Minister Senthil Balaji, and at that exact point is when there was all of this chaos that kicked off. Let me bring in our reporters who are also joining us from Karur. We've got Apurva Jayachandran as well as Pramod Madhav. We've also got Anaga Keshav who's joining us on this broadcast. I'll bring in right now Anaga to understand exactly what the TVK is saying here. Anaga, to allege that this is, manufactured, to allege that this is a conspiracy is extremely serious. And the question that will be asked is whether the TVK has any evidence to actually back that charge.
In fact, Akshita, the TVK has said that the local politician and the local police were hand in glove with local goondas, and they have engineered this whole situation, is what the TVK is alleging. A very bold allegation, in fact, that's actually written in that petition copy that was filed before the Madras High Court, seeking for CBI's intervention. The TVK believes that the one-man commission that's set up by the state is going to be biased. There's not going to be free and fair investigation, and hence TVK's Vijay has sought for CBI's intervention. In fact, they also gave an alternative saying it should either be a CBI or a court-monitored probe. But Friday is when there will be a hearing at the Madras High Court, post which it will be decided as to whether the case is going to be transferred to the CBI or not. Another petition that was filed by Vijay was that he's also seeking to meet the families of victims with the permission of the court. So that hearing as well is going to happen on Friday. In fact, TVK has requested the court to direct the local SP and the local Karur collector to ensure that Vijay is not restricted from meeting the families of victims. All this is fine, but still the question still remains, what is stopping Vijay from coming out and actually at least making a video or meeting the press? Because imagine a fledgling political party not willing to take in awkward questions from people. That remains to be the biggest question. It's going to be 48 hours now. Still silence on Vijay's front, who posed himself as the next Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. Very questionable.
Apurva, you're in Karur right now. You've been speaking to many of those families. What do they have to say about all of these claims of a conspiracy? From their version, from what they witnessed on ground, did they believe so, that there was an attempt to manufacture, create chaos?
Well, Akshita, in fact, we also were trailing, the Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman as she went to speak with the families of the victims. She had met with them, she had consoled them as well. And even here at the Karur Government Hospital, where we are standing at day in and day out, we've seen the families of those who have been affected, be it people who are still getting medical treatment in the ICU, or even those families of those who have lost their loved ones. All of them keep saying that there has been, generally the talk is that there has been a lot of crowd that had come there at the wrong time, and that when these crowds just kept increasing, there was pushing that took place from either sides, be it from point A and point B, and ultimately the people, they had no way to get out. That's the general tone that we are getting from the people out here as well. They said yes, by 6 o'clock, by 6:30, we did see that there were a couple of people who had easily gone inside, but then half an hour later there was hardly any space for people to even get out. Forget getting outside of the campaign. We also saw videos there of ambulances that were trying to get inside to get patients who were in fact affected in this so-called stampede. So that's the general tone that has been here as well. In fact, a couple of the victims' families have also alleged, saying that it had been a very difficult time for them because they weren't even given any water or food as they had been standing, since early this morning, eagerly waiting for their Neta Vijay to come, their Talapati Vijay to come and see them, but that there wasn't any proper arrangements that was even made for them, given that this was, a political rally of sorts that the TVK had planned.
Okay, I'd also like to bring in Pramod, and we'll flash out on our screens really for how long Vijay has been missing from Karur. As soon as the stampede happened, he rushed back to Trichy and then took that chartered plane back to Chennai. Since then, he's been in Chennai and hasn't made any effort so far to go to Karur to meet with these families. As Apurva says, many of them at this point still wondering where he is. Over 45 hours, so nearly 48 hours since that stampede, Pramod. Why is Vijay not gone? Has he been denied permission? There's a lot of questions about whether the administration stopped him on that very day from visiting the hospital. Is there any truth to that?
Well, one thing which is very clear is that we did speak to the government sources and we asked them first of all, the government does not have any kind of right unless it is going to be a untoward incident to stop anybody from meeting anyone, and that is the reason the program itself was first allowed in the with 11 conditions over there, and the government sources very clearly mentioned that Vijay was not denied any kind of permission like that. In fact, one thing they are trying to say is that from Karur to Trichy, Vijay was able to come in almost 2 hours. That itself shows that he was not anywhere closer. He has immediately left. He didn't stay anywhere over there. And another important question, one thing that is raised by the journalists who were at Trichy itself is that when Vijay came to Karur, people reporters and journalists over there, they actually yelled at Vijay saying 29 people have died. What do you have to say about that? Vijay definitely heard that, but he did not respond there also, and he left. And we were at Chennai airport, but even there he did not respond to any of us. It is unfortunate, but it is high time that if Vijay wants to be a Neta, he needs to start answering questions for the people, by the people, which he has done so far. He is only holding a kind of video conference. We heard that twice he has held video conference with his team. Yesterday also, after one video conference, the compensation was announced on Twitter by Vijay X app. And then today there was a video conference post which we also came to know that he was discussing about the legal matters and such. Another important aspect is that his team is talking to him about a sabotage, a kind of conspiracy that occurred over there. Is he being fed the appropriate information, proper information? What is happening over there is something that was very questionable, because one important advice they should have given Vijay over there is to stay back and meet those people at least, or try to help them some way.
I mean, I don't know, Pramod. I don't know whether you need any sort of advice to be told that, a tragedy has happened, you need to meet the victims, you need to meet their families. I don't know if you need advice on that front. It should be obvious to me that, you should be based in Karur. You should be waiting for the first opportunity you get to meet with the family members. And as far as this entire sabotage charge goes, it's a very, very serious allegation to make. And if they're making that allegation, we're not going to completely dismiss it, but if they're making that allegation, there must be evidence to back it, because it's a very, very sensational allegation to put forth. Then there will also be questions about why then another factor which contributed to the stampede was, of course, the overcrowding. Why did Vijay turn up late? If all this was about sabotage, then the TVK would have ensured they stuck to the schedule and that everything on their front was absolutely picture perfect, which it wasn't. So can they really be calling this as sabotage, as a conspiracy right now? Either way, they've asked for a CBI investigation. They've asked for footage from that event to be kept so that they can go ahead and furnish proof, they say, of the sabotage that they're claiming. So all of that comes up in the court, which will be interesting to watch out for. But